Yo, 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 welcome to the STR Q&A. This week we are talking something I'm super passionate about, and you should be too. The best ROI amenities that you can add. So let's get right into it. I will share my screen here in one sec. And these are a lot of, I think a lot of people talk about some of these, but not all of these. We've got some data on some of this. This is a very hard thing to quantify of, like, for example, should I add a hot tub to my Airbnb? Will it make the money back? Very hard thing to quantify. I have some stats on some of these amenities I'm going to share with you guys, but happy to chat further on what you see. All right, let's get right into it. So the best ROI amenities, best to worst. There's really not one on here that is not good. I've tested a lot of these on at least one of our properties in our portfolio, and I've kind of ranked them top to bottom. So there's two big buckets, right? I kind of think this is two commonalities. Let me make this a little bigger. Two commonalities with how these work. One is like increased occupancy and ADR. I can charge more because I have this amenity. Those are like before the booking happens, right? The second part is the guest satisfaction. That's like, you're not really going to see an ROI on it, but those are still amenities that you need to take into account. And I've kind of broken them down. That's the way my mind like thinks about these, because I think a lot of people chat about like the big ones, you know, the pool, the sauna, like the fire pit, things like that. Those are very big, but those are like pre-booking amenities, which arguably are more important. I think they're more important, but they're also like sexier because they, you know, you'll see them in the photos, like guests will book for them, like they'll ask about them specifically. But ones that get neglected a lot are more of the getting better reviews, the guest satisfaction bucket, which we're going to go into both of those here in 1 second. So the increased occupancy, this one's a little bit more fun to talk about. I've ranked these from top to bottom, just to give you an idea. I think there's maybe like 10 of them. Number one, professional photos. This is the most important thing that you need. If you do not have professional photos at your Airbnb, what are you doing? That is a $250 investment that will make back 1,000% ROI. Up to 24% more bookings, and can charge anywhere from 20 to 26% higher nightly rates. I mean, if you're just taking iPhone photos now, like you're way behind. But it's an easy fix that you can get done in a couple of days. So professional photos, numero uno. Number two, one of my obviously most important ones. I don't think I'll ever buy a rental without a pool or like some type of cowboy pool. You can get like a 21% ADR boost if you have a pool. I think I've seen that to be much higher. Like, for example, my rental this last summer for 3 months, it was 100% occupied. And I think we did probably 2x what we did past summer with the same different manager, but different also design. So I think this is pretty conservative, honestly. I think you can charge a lot more for a pool. The next one, my third favorite, is going to be a hot tub. This one is, a lot of this is market dependent, but I'm thinking, like, I'm coming this as a general perspective. Like most markets, if you throw a hot tub in it, like it's going to increase booking, increase revenue, increase like ADR, like it's going to check all the boxes. I've seen ADR spike anywhere from like 26% on average, which is nuts. Like if you charge $100 a night, you could charge like $126 a night. Hopefully my math is right there. But ADR, 26% increase just from adding a hot tub. It's a one-time investment. If you do a hot tub, do the 220 volt, not the 110. Trust me, you will thank me later. I've figured you'll recoup all of your hot tub costs in about 6 to 12 months. 6 being on, like, you know, the badass hot tubs that in different markets that are very, very hot tub dependent, or the 12 months is like almost in every other market. You're going to recoup it in the first year, which 100% ROI or 200% ROI or cash on cash ROI, like 1,000% worth it. Sauna. This one is one that we actually don't have a sauna on any of our properties. So this is something that I want to try it out. I threw around the idea of doing it at my rental. I've told almost all of our investors to add a sauna, but this one being my fourth favorite. ADR increases anywhere from 20 to 30%, and then occupancy rates add an additional 10 to 15%. This study was specifically about leisure markets. So not like a urban market, but more of like your leisure kind of vacation markets. I would argue it would probably be more impactful in like urban markets because almost nobody has it. There's two like main buckets of travelers. It's like urban city markets or like traditional vacation markets. Everybody thinks about, the Smoky Mountains, the Myrtle Beaches, the Floridas, like the beach and mountain. The urban one, I think they get neglected, and that's the majority of where my experience comes from is the urban market. I think those percentages are going to be higher because the competition just isn't there yet. I think they will, but urban's almost always lagging to the vacation markets because everybody thinks like, oh, I can make more money in vacation markets because there are people traveling there, which is not incorrect. So number 5, cohesive design. Essentially like making sure your property looks good, making sure it's got wallpaper, fun colors, like pops of, colorful pillows. I could not find a stat here, but I would almost argue that that's going to be anywhere from 20 to probably 100% increase in like ADR. I couldn't find any stats here. Same thing, game room. I couldn't find any stats. I think they're more of like a newer study. Over time, we will get a lot more data, but trust me, just do it. Cohesive design probably should be a little bit higher. But anyways, game room, this is something that I am super passionate about. I added a game room to my rental November of last year, and I've got like probably at least 15 reviews that specifically called out the game room. So this one is from a pre-booking category because like people will see game rooms and think immediately, oh, my kids will go in there. My family will love this. I will love this. But not enough data here for today just to kind of substantiate this. But I know it works because I've lived it. Pet friendly. If you've been following me for a while, like I've been on this train for a long time. Almost all of our properties are pet friendly. Comes with some downsides, but I think the upsides definitely outweigh the downside. I saw like 33% of travelers travel with pets. Whew, excuse me. So if you only want to pertain to 2/3 of the demographic, then do not allow pets. Now, if you want to potentially add a third of revenue, occupancy, all that, and you want to pertain to pets, like definitely turn on the pets. We charge, I think it's $100 a pet now. We used to charge a flat $150, no matter how many pets. So we'll do 100 a pet and then only allow 3 pets. Workspace, once again, workspace and string lights. These are my last two. Definitely not worse by any means, but they don't really have any type of data to kind of substantiate this. So workspace, this is 1000% very popular because of COVID. Almost everybody can work from home if they're not already working from home. So having some type of desk, it does not have to be a dedicated desk. I will tell you that a ton of our houses have beds and desks in the same room. Now, I do like to have the desk behind a door, but it doesn't have to be like, we're dedicating this bedroom number 4 only to be a desk. We'll usually do like a hybrid space where we've got a desk in there with a chair. We usually don't supply monitors or anything like that. And also a sleeping arrangement in that same room. String lights, the last and final one of this category. String lights. Once again, this is something that I've been screaming from the rooftops. It is almost the cheapest amenity here. I think it probably is the cheapest amenity here, but it brings probably a similar ROI to the professional photos because the string lights is almost always the hero shot, especially for outdoor areas. And especially for urban vacation, like this is everywhere. Like if you have an outdoor area and you do not have string lights, I would go buy some today. They're $80 to $120 and super easy to install. So that kind of rounds out the amenity increase, like the stuff that gets people to pull the trigger on your listing specifically, right? Increases occupancy and ADR immediately. Now, one thing to note here is like I I think of this as like an amenity multiplier. Whereas like if you only do one or two, like you still get the benefits of those two. But if you stack them, like for example, my property, it has a pool, has a hot tub, has a game room. It's 4 beds, like on almost a half acre. So like it checks a lot of the boxes, but I kind of think of it as a multiplier. So like you're not only getting the benefits of having like 2 amenities or 3 amenities, like you're almost multiplying those 3 amenity boosts turn into like 4 or 5x the amount of ROI. Kind of like compound interest, if you've ever seen a graph of how money multiplies. So when you stack 2, you get 3. So if you like, for example, the pool, there's only like 100 properties with a pool. Mine has a pool, right? It's a top 75 property out of like 9,000 listings. So if you got a pool, it would still do well. Like it would do well. But if you stack it with a hot tub, also, does well now, not only in summer, but also in the off season, in the cold months, people are using that hot tub up. And then the game room, same thing. That pertains to kids, to families, to bigger groups, like a common area that people can hang out. So like you're pertaining to summer months, winter months, and also like different types of demographics of families. So you're like stacking these up, which is a recipe for success. And you will win if you do this. Trust me. All right. So the second part of this is the amenities that they drive ROI, but they also are like, they're hard to quantify. I would arguably say they're impossible to quantify because you don't know these things. Like somebody's not going to say like, oh, they had like nice pans. I'm going to specifically reach out to them and say, they just expect that level of like quality. And if they don't get it, it starts to degrade their experience. But if they do get it, they kind of expect it. And I'm going to go through these. You'll know what I'm talking about here in 1 second. So the top one is a quality mattress. That is arguably the number one thing here. You will probably every now and then, since this one is so important, we do get this a lot with in reviews where people will be like, oh my gosh, slept so good. Like the mattress, like we get messages all the time afterwards of like, hey, what kind of mattress did you have? Like I slept so good on vacation. Mattress numero uno. I like the Amazon. Oh God, I'm blanking on the name of the Amazon Zenus or ZX. Something starts with Z. That is a very good mattress for maybe like $500. So 1,000% worth the ROI. Number 2, nice pans. I think this one is, nobody ever talks about it. I honestly am guilty of that as well. I don't really talk about it either, but nice pans are a very good amenity. We usually have to replace pans like every 6 months. So it's hard to like bite the bullet and buy new pans, but they do make a difference, especially for people that like urban market, like our average length of stay is like 12 nights or something. Like people are staying 2 weeks on average. So they're cooking at home. They're not eating out 2 weeks in a row. So having nice pans and having it fully stocked is very, very important. Number 3, don't cheap out on the coffee. Like the coffee is very important, and don't just get Folgers. Like we do this at some properties. One thing I'm like jockeying our cleaners for is like, hey, get some local coffee, like get some unique stuff. I'm a kind of a coffee snob. But I like good local coffee. You can get this in bulk too. It's not something that's like super needed. Once again, this is a minor touch, but I think it does go a long way. Family amenities. This one's a really big one. I do not have a family yet, but this one is. I've been told that this is like one of the top things that people look for whenever they're looking for rentals. So like pack and play, toddler set, like outlet covers, like the game room. That's, kind of ties into this. So pro tip here, you do not have to buy all of these. You do not have to buy like a high chair. I would argue to not buy them. Honestly, we integrate with Baby Quip, which I think it's nationwide. It essentially like links into Guesty and Hospitable into Baby Quip. And then so it will match people if somebody wants these amenities. So for us as a host, I can check that box. And if you check the box, make sure you check not included at the property, and it is an additional cost. And then you just send them the Baby Quip link whenever they ask for it. And then somebody can deliver it there, pick it up, like it's washed, it's sanitized, like nothing you really have to do. So it is a win-win-win. The fifth one, Pyrex. This is something that I recently added and recently think it is a big amenity. It is expensive, but I think it's worth it. Those like the Tupperware. Once again, people are staying a long time, 12 nights on average. Like they're going to have leftovers. They're going to need something to put their leftovers in. So Pyrex is going to be my number 5th one. Number 6, fast Wi-Fi. Ties into the work from home person, which it's me. So this, once again, people aren't going to necessarily book a place for fast Wi-Fi. I mean, you can advertise it like we advertise it, but it's more about keeping that review high. If you have slow Wi-Fi and they're like lagging and they're playing games and like their Zooms are lagging out, you are going to potentially get a lower review on the back end, but it's not something that's going to affect it will affect future bookings, but like it won't get people to book just because you have fast Wi-Fi. Guidebook. This is something that I think do very well is the guidebook. We use Touch Stay. Once again, it's integrated just like Baby Quip is. And we have like local recommendations. Pro tip, don't just use ChatGPT for this. This is like talk to locals, like ask around, go to in local like foodie groups, like, hey, what's like an up and coming restaurant that I can give my guests? Like we'll usually do 2 or 3 in each category, like, dinner, lunch, breakfast, coffee, bars, things like that. We'll actually have like local recs in there because if you just ask ChatGPT, they're just going to give you like the run of the mill places. I always say like, how do I get a guest to travel like a local? Like that's a big thing that we try to do because that's honestly like that's one of the funner things to do whenever you stay at a new place. The last one before I wrap up, I appreciate everybody jumping on and sticking with me to the end. The last one, I think it is highly, highly underrated. Our designer does this almost at all of our places that she designs. The extension cords behind / the bed. So whenever you have like we've all been to the Airbnb where you like go to lay down at night and you go to, plug your phone in and you're exhausted from a long day of travel. And you're like, where the heck is the outlet? Like, imagine if there was a extension cord like attached to the bed. Like it's such a small thing, but it matters so much where they can just be like, okay, plug it in, boom, we're done. We're going to bed versus probably all been there where you go, you got your charger, your phone on 2%. And you're like, where the heck is the plug-in, right? And you're like pulling the bed out, like you're moving the nightstand. Like, don't make your guests move the furniture. They're going to find things they probably don't want to find. So it is twofold beneficial for you, the host. So attach the extension cords with double-sided tape on the side of the beds, and we usually put them on both sides of all the beds. So a little pro tip for you there. All right. Thank you for watching. I will hopefully see you guys tomorrow at the STR event. If you're in Charlotte, shoot me a message of watching live. Thank you for watching live. I'll send you all the info and peace. Take care. Let me make sure there's no questions real quick. Where's YouTube?